Hello, everybody, and welcome to Taking Control, the ADHD podcast on rashpixel.fm. I'm Pete Wright, and right over there, right here, is Nikki Kinzer.
I'm glowing. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Nikki Kinzer.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm not as great.
You're not great.
You know, you get sick and they tell you there's nothing we can do. We can only make you comfortable. Oh, that's the worst.
Yes.
The worst.
I'm sorry.
I'm sort of lucid
for
this live stream, but I'm here and I'm rallying because I'm excited for our guest today.
Yes.
We've got this wonderful program going on right now that is dedicated to helping our children with ADHD, and we can't wait to introduce you to the founder right here today. Before we do that, head over to takecontroladhd.com. You can get to know us a little bit better. You can listen to the show right there on the website or subscribe to the mailing list on the homepage to get an email with the latest episode each week. You can connect with us on Twitter or Facebook at Take Control ADHD. And if you support the ADHD podcast, if you are a longtime listener and you find that your life has been impacted positively by something that we've done or said or someone we've interviewed over the last 6 years, we hope you'll consider supporting us with a few dollars a month on Patreon. Your support gets you into the private Facebook group, which gets you this lovely live stream just for members and get early access to the podcast each and every week. So thank you to everyone who has jumped in already, and thanks in advance to those of you who are thinking about making the move today. We really appreciate your support. Our guest today is Jennifer Kampfe, a certified ADHD coach with Fantastically Focused. As a certified ADHD coach, Jennifer works with children and teens and college students and parents and adults and pretty much everybody with ADHD. And she's here today to talk about her program, Hearts for ADHD, and celebrating kids for their ADHD uniqueness. Jennifer, welcome to the ADHD podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is great to have you. Just to give our listeners a little bit of background, Jennifer and I went to the same coaching school, I guess you could say, and connected that way. And then we actually met in person at the last CHAD conference and took a lot of the same classes. So we got to hang out together and got to know each other a little bit. And she had reached out, I guess it's been the beginning of February or right at the end of January about this program. And I thought, you know what a great topic to have on the show because it's such a positive message. So Jennifer, tell us a little bit about what Hearts for ADHD is.
Hearts for ADHD is an initiative or a campaign or a project, any way that you want to describe it, that I created to counteract the negative messages that our children with ADHD receive on a daily basis. There's research to suggest that by the age of 12, a child with ADHD is going to receive 20,000 more negative messages than a child without ADHD. You know, as a mom of a kid, who has ADHD, that's disheartening, and it shouldn't be happening because these kids have a lot of great qualities and a lot of great characteristics, and those are the things that we need to be focusing on more than the negative. That was my basis for creating Hearts for ADHD, was just counteract those negative messages.
So counteract the negative messages. So tell us a little bit about how do we do that?
What it is beginning February 1st. It started February 1st. So it's okay if somebody wants to hop on and start now. It's okay. It runs February 1st through the 14th. And the idea is to each day to give a child that you love with ADHD, to give them a heart. And on the heart is written a strength or a characteristic about him or her that you love, to counteract the negative messages. And so if you go to my website, fantasticallyfocused.com/hearts, I wanted to make it as simple for people to participate because everybody's so busy. So if you go on that site and just put your email address in, then you can receive free downloadable heart templates that you can print out and cut out to just make it easy for you to join in on the fun. And I'm having a lot of fun doing this with my son.
Well, yeah, tell us about your experience. I mean, you've been doing this now for a few days with him. So what are you finding? What is the experience so far?
It's been really cool. The very first day, he did not know that I was starting this initiative. Mm-hmm. So the very first day, I actually did a quick live Facebook with him of me introducing to him what I was doing. And I gave him his first heart, which said that I loved how he can focus on what he loves.
Well, isn't that a nice little turn? Yeah. So is he?
That is so
Isn't
sweet.
that awesome?
That's huge.
I know. So is he actually in the video with you?
He is.
And that's on your Facebook page?
That's on, Fantastically Focused Facebook page.
Okay, I'm going to have to check that out.
He's on there with me, and he was really sweet because it kind of caught him off guard, I think, but he said, thank you. And he gave me a hug. So every day on my Facebook post, I'm putting a picture of the heart that he receives that day, and then a picture of his door, because I'm putting them on his door. Some other ideas that people can do is if you have an elementary student, you can put it in their lunchbox every day. You could put it on their pillow at night. For grandparents who are out there, Carlton actually just received an envelope in the mail yesterday from my mom, who we live in Nebraska. She lives in North Carolina, and she sent him an envelope full of 14 hearts with what she loves about him. And so that's how she's participating. So everybody out there listening, you do not have to be in the same town.
Right. And you don't have to necessarily be the parent. You can be a teacher, a caregiver, an aunt. It doesn't matter. That is so cool. So give us some more examples of what people could write down. Because I love the first one you just said. I love that you focus on what you love. What are some other things that people can counteract that negativity or that negative message that they're hearing?
The cool thing that I did, Nikki, is there actually on those downloads, there are pre-printed hearts.
Oh,
so there are messages that are already on there. And, what those are is we hear Dr. Ned Hallowell talk a lot about taking the negatives that people associate with ADHD and flipping those to positives, so that how you can focus on what you love, that's taken from, how we say they can't focus, they have a lack of focus, but the positive is, no, they can focus on what they love. So it's finding what they love. So there are pre-printed messages on there. So rather than saying that they're hyper, we love their energy.
And I wish I could bottle it up and give it sometimes.
Exactly. Yes. And, yesterday, the one that I gave Carlton was your eagerness. And I put a little blurb on my Facebook about how, that counteracts the impulsive. So we say a kid with ADHD is impulsive. And we, growing up, especially in elementary school, I would hear, he blurts out in class. Well, it would always be an answer. It would always be on topic, and it would always be in the classes that he really enjoyed, like science. He would get so eager, if you will, that he'd just want to answer the question. And so, yesterday I put on my Facebook, shouldn't we want eager learners? They have to learn to channel that eagerness or that impulsivity properly, but you channel it and you get them into these subjects in these classes that they love, and they're eager learners, and that should be what we want. So do we want to look at our students as impulsive or eager?
It's such an interesting story because we went in with a conference for my son with his math teacher. And one of the things that she said, as an experienced, seasoned, many decades in the classroom math teacher, her response was, that she loves having my son in class because while his distraction can be contagious, his enthusiasm can be contagious too. And when he finds a subject that he really loves, she wants to celebrate that contagion of enthusiasm. And I think that gets to the same point you're talking about here. I think that's enormously valuable to celebrate, that there can be a positive outcome of that sort of enthusiasm, even if it seems like it's wound up, too tight, for example. So.
Yes. And how wonderful that he has a teacher that recognizes that. You know,
that's believe huge. Me, we were saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing gift, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I love that it is highlighting the strengths. It's it's putting it in front of them and something that they can keep too, because they can keep these hearts and keep referring back to them and looking at them. What was the inspiration for you to do this? I mean, I know you talked about your son having ADHD, you used that statistic, but I'm curious, like, what made you decide? Because I'm imagining this took some time and some work on your part.
It did. Well, I have to tell you, it was kind of, how we talk about flashes of brilliance, I literally 2 weeks ago, it was 2 weeks before February 1st, and I was in my bathroom getting ready for the day, and it just came to me. My mom had sent me a picture of a door filled with, hearts that had messages on them. And this was like back in January. And she's like, you need to do this for the kids this Valentine's. I was like, oh, that's a great idea. Well, 2 weeks ago, I'm in my bathroom and I'm like, no, I have to do this for ADHD. I have to put this out there. And so, I ran to my computer and I emailed my mentor, Lori Dupar, and it was probably one of those ecstatic, crazy emails with all of these ideas and thoughts flowing. And, what do you think? And she emailed me back and she said, this is great. Go for it. And I knew it was going to be a lot of work in 2 weeks, but, she was right there with me the whole time and she helped me every step of the way. And so it got put together in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Amazing how just a little bit of inspiration and a lot of passion and advocacy for these kids that you're able to spread this message. And it's such a positive message. And I wanted to go beyond just Valentine's Day. So tell us, how can we do that again as parents and caregivers and aunts and uncles, and what are your thoughts? How do we continue this?
Yes, absolutely. So a couple of thoughts that I have on that. So I'm really hoping that this next couple of weeks, so through Valentine's, that it's going to really provide some refreshment and encouragement, not only for our kids, but for our parents and for the other caregivers who are involved in our kids' lives, that it'll create an awareness and even a routine, if you will, of recognizing our kids' strengths and giving them genuine praise every day. Because you're right, it can't stop after Valentine's Day. They need it more than 14 days, a year.
Mm-hmm.
So really, this whole initiative was meant to create an awareness and to really start a forward momentum towards recognize the greatness that's inside of our kids and being their biggest fans. And so it really is a great opportunity for parents to practice the pause, to stop every day when they see their kid doing something positive and to praise them for it. So I'm really hoping that these 2 weeks have given that opportunity for people who are involved in these kids' lives to be able to recognize the positive and when they are doing something good, and to be able to pause and stop and say, hey, you just spent 10 minutes on that homework. Great job.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a different message than, oh, come on, you got to hurry up and get your homework done. Come on, let's hurry up. You've got all this stuff you have to do today. Yeah, that's wonderful. Oh, Jennifer, I love this. Thank you so much for sharing this with us and with our listeners.
It really is so great. And I really appreciate that the initiative, Jennifer, for you was about the kids. And that means so much. For those who are listening, who are adults, I've been thinking since we tried recording last week, I've been thinking about how to use a similar thing. Like, what does this sort of motivation do to work for adults, right?
Right.
That kind of a motivation doesn't just have to work for kids. So I guess my question is for both of you as ADHD coaches, how does this extend for those who are listening, to those who need to learn both how to say they want to be appreciated and how to appreciate others?
This doesn't necessarily apply to, someone with ADHD, but it does apply to the adult in that, I'm doing this for my husband too. He's an adult, but I'm putting a heart on his bathroom mirror every day that has a
I love
positive.
that so much.
We all want to hear, yes. I mean, I think that, what was it? I think Oprah said this a long time. We all want to be heard. We all want to have, be able to speak our voice and be heard and be acknowledged, I believe is what she was saying. And that's kind of what you're doing, is you're making a point to acknowledge someone else and what they're doing, and then building up their self-esteem and their, not even self-esteem, but I think just happiness, right? I mean, you guys are probably really happy right now as a married couple because he's getting that kind of acknowledgement.
Oh man, Nikki, if it were only that easy as putting a heart on a mirror for 14 days.
Right. I know. But it helps, right? If you don't do it.
Yeah, it does.
And it's funny because I'm going to wrap this around something that I've been reading. I've been reading Gretchen Rubin's Happiness Project. And I just got finished with February, which was about basically being nicer to her husband, which is really funny. But it's exactly wrapping into what this is about, is that, I'm going to be extra nice to him, but I'm not going to tell him I'm being extra nice. And I'm not looking for him to acknowledge it. I'm really doing it to, see if this makes me happier, because that's the whole point of the book, is like, what makes me happy? And so it was really interesting when you said that, because it kind of just reminded me of that chapter. Something that came to my mind, Pete, though, when you asked that question, is this particular movement, I guess you would say, is coming from other people to someone, right? As a coach, I would love to see my client be able to do this for themselves as well. So not necessarily expecting a spouse or, we definitely can't expect our children to do this for us as parents, because that's just not going to ever happen. Oh, Mom, you're such a great mom. Yeah, that doesn't happen.
I could write a little script. I think that, oh, Dad, you're so ruggedly handsome.
So cool. Yeah.
Dad,
you know
you look
everything,
so great in
and I
headphones.
know nothing. Yeah. Right. But that's what I would love to do, is there a way, and this is just me thinking, is there a way to work with clients that we could do this exercise together, where you can, write down 10 of your strengths and be able to refer back to those, and them being able to come up with that for themselves, because they're so, it's so easy to go down to that negative rabbit hole of, what I'm not doing, and I should be doing this, and why is it so easy for everyone else? And I think this gives them that level of acceptance that, I am doing a lot of things right. I can do a lot of things, and focusing on that positive, I absolutely love. So I agree, Pete. I definitely think this can go both ways. And on a side note, I just want people to know that on my website, I do have a 7-day Find Your Strengths email. What do you call it? It's not a challenge. It's like you can little subscribe to it, and that comes to you, and it's inspiration. It's like an email inspiration chain. Yeah. It gives you ideas on how to find your strengths. Right. Yeah. There's not a word for it, but it's awesome. And you should go and sign up for it. If you're not really sure what your strengths are, because sometimes I think people forget. So what the email 7-day sequence is for you to find what those are. So it kind of wraps up into everything that Jennifer's saying.
And that, I think, is exactly what I'm getting to, and didn't really have the words for it, is that what this sort of program, this is, you're training the kids to notice things about themselves that are really great. You're training them to see, hey, stop a minute and look at how great you are right this second. Look at how you were able to focus and accomplish 15 minutes of this fantastic math homework. And I think the idea is, at least when I project out 10 years or 30, is that maybe I'll be able to habituate the same behavior in myself, that I'll be able to do something, even if I'm struggling all day long, I'll be able to notice the 15 minutes of strong focus. And that, I think, is really valuable. It's a lifetime lesson.
Absolutely. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for having this wonderful idea and coming on our show and sharing it with our audience. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to just come and share.
Absolutely.
It's really great. It is really great. Thank you so much, Jennifer Kampfe. You can find her at fantasticallyfocused.com and see exactly what Jennifer is up to there. It's a great program and great inspiration to think about, you celebrating the wondrous accomplishments of every day of your life with ADHD. Thank you so much. On behalf of Jennifer Kampfe and Nikki Kinzer, I'm Pete Wright, and we'll catch you next time right here on Taking Control, the ADHD podcast.